Yeah, you can unmute and talk. Okay. Okay, then yesterday where we stopped. Yesterday what we discussed. Hmm? What is inline element and what is block level element, right? So in HTML, there has two types of elements over there. We can categorize it like inline elements and block level elements. Can anyone tell me what is inline element? If anybody asks, okay, hey, tell me what is inline element? What's your answer? Any element which take the content width as its own width. That kind of elements we can say like a inline. What about block level? Any element which take the parent width as its own width. That one we can say like a block level. So show me is really okay. Span, I can say like a span. I can say like inline, and the div I can say like a block level. I said like this. Hey, really is span is like inline? Show me, prove. Really, this div is like a block level. Show me, prove it. Show it is really it's like a block level. So how we can show means okay, very simple. Go to the browser. Go to the browser. Okay. Now inspect it. Okay. Inspect it. Now see there has one more window opened. Are you able to see this window? One more window opened or not? Okay. Whatever the code we have, I don't want that one. Edit as HTML. Okay. Now see everything is like in the editable mode. Control A, delete it. Now I said like a span is inline. The next one is like I said like my div is like a block level. Just you can write like this to prove. I written like two elements only, but by default my browser placed how many elements? Three more elements or not. So any tab in the browser, any tab you can open. In the tab there has some content loaded. There has some content loaded. So that content you prepare by using HTML. If you not write also HTML code, we can write using elements in the hierarchy based. If you not write also some of the elements by default placed, which elements by default placed? Some of the elements by default placed, which elements those are? HTML, head, body, three elements by default placed. Okay. So if you come here, I said like span is inline. See this, if I put the cursor on my span, who is the parent of my span? Body. Who is the parent of my div? Body. So first of all, go to the body means go to the parent. If I click on that body, see there has 1264 into 36. There has 1264 into 36. What is this 1264 and 36 means? 1264 is like a width and 36 is like height. Okay, height not considered, just leave it. So my parent width is 1264. If I put the cursor on my span width is how much? 36. If I put the cursor on my div width is how much? 1264. So my body width is 1264 and my children width also 1264. So the element which take the parent width as its own width, the element which take the parent width as its own width, that kind of elements what we can say block level elements or not. That the reason I said div is a block level. Like this you can prove. What about span? Span is which kind of element? Span is which kind of element? It's like inline or block level? Span is which kind of element? It's like inline or block level? Tell me. It's inline. Why inline? See, is it take the parent width? It's take the content width. See, is it take like a parent width or it's take like a content width? Tell me. Span is like a parent width or content width. Exactly. If I put the cursor, see exactly 36. That content width only it's taken or not. So the element which take the content width as its own width, that kind of elements what we can say inline elements. That's it. Understood everyone? What is inline? What is block level? That. What is an attribute? Okay, these are the basic things. Okay, to prepare the templates, you should know minimum basic things. What is an attribute? Can anyone? What is an attribute? Very simple. Okay, see, I have one element is there, div. Okay, element syntax, how it looks like? See, left, less than, greater than, in between there has some text you can place. This is like an element. Okay, this is also element only. The difference is what you know. This is my open element and this is my closing element. In between, you can place some content. In between, you can place some content. This is the way you can add. Okay, you can write some templates, you can write some source code to develop the templates. Open element and closing element, in between there has some content. That content may be normal raw text. That content may be okay, one more element also. See, Okay, this is the open element and this is the closing element. In between there has some content is there now. There has some content is there now. That content is not a normal raw text. That content is what? That content is not a normal raw text. The content is what? Come on. The content is like element also. Okay, the content can be element also. In the element again, see there has two more elements are there. In this element the raw text is there. So my content inside the element maybe one more element, maybe a raw text or not. Okay, this particular content, okay, maybe my content may be an element, one more element, maybe a raw text, normal raw text also or not. Okay, so what is an attribute? I have one div is there. Okay, I have one more div also there. I have one more div also there. Like this, multiple divs I have. Like this, I have multiple divs. Now tell me how we can differentiate here. This is one div, this is one div, this is one div. How we can differentiate? I want to tell something about this div. This is the first div, or this is the second div, or this is the third div. Like this, I want to tell something about these divs. First div has Sachin, second div has Dhoni, my third div has Kohli. Okay, I want Sachin, Dhoni, Kohli, right? I want to tell this is like a Sachin div, this is like a Dhoni div, this is like a Kohli div. Like this, I want to tell something more about your elements. I want to tell something more about the elements. Then how we can tell something more about the elements? If you want to tell something more about the elements, then you can go with what? Then you can go with the attributes. Then you can go with what? Attributes. If you want to tell something more about the elements, then you can go with the attributes. Understood, everyone? So what is an attribute? How it looks like? Can anyone knows? My attribute, syntactically it's a key value pair. Say key value pair. Where it is going to place? Always in open tag. It is going to place always in the open tag. Okay, my attribute is like a key value pair. It is always placed in the open tag. Understood? Always place in the open tag. Understood? How many attributes you can write? Any number of attributes you can write. Any number of attributes you can write. Any number of attributes you can write. Understood? Any number of attributes you can write. So attribute is a key value pair. Okay, it is going to place in the open tag. Okay, it is going to place in the open tag. We can write any number of attributes. Okay, now write something. See, I have an element. I want to write one attribute. I want to write one attribute. Attribute is a, it's a key value pair. Okay, where you have to write in the open tag. See, this is the open tag and this is the closing tag. So I place like in the open tag only. How many attributes you can write? Any number of attributes you can write. How we can differentiate one attribute to another attribute? Just give some space. Just give some space. Like this. You can write any number of attributes. So what is the use of that attribute? These attributes tell something more about the element. Okay, for example, if it is not there, it is like normal div. Okay, it is like a normal div. It's like a normal div. Sorry, it's like a normal div or not. If you place this one, if you place this one, it is going to tell something about this element or not. It is going to tell something about these elements or not. It is going to tell something about these elements or not. Understood, everyone? If you want to tell something about that element, then you can go with what? Then you can go with an attributes. If you want to tell something more about the elements, then you can go with an attributes. Then you can go with an attributes. Understood, everyone? So I want to differentiate, I said, right? So can I give one attribute called as a ID? ID. Okay. ID, yes, is nothing but it's like a Sachin div. IDD is nothing but it's a Dhoni div. ID equals to K means it's like a Kohli div. It's like a Kohli div. Like this, I can differentiate or not. ID is nothing but just unique identity. For example, in your class, each and every student has the roll number. That is like a unique identity, right? Same like that. Okay. If you think in the elements tab is like one class, in this class, each and every element is like one student. That student unique identity is what? Roll number, right? So that roll number is nothing but here ID attribute. That roll number is nothing but ID attribute. Now in the elements tab, how many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements are there. Each and every element you can write an ID attribute. Okay, that is tell something about the unique identity of your element. Okay, so this particular one is like mandatory or optional. This particular one is like mandatory or optional. Attributes are mandatory or optional. Tell me, attributes are mandatory or optional? It's like an optional, right? See here, if you not write also, okay, no problem at all, no problem at all. If you required, then only, if you required, then only you can add some attributes. You can add some attributes. Now let's go. Tell me any favorite website, any website you can tell. Okay, we can open when we can see any website you can tell. For example, mdtv.com. Okay, that this is my mdtv.com. Do right click, do inspect. Okay, now in the elements tab, now in the elements tab, see, there has multiple elements. There has multiple elements. In the elements tab, there has multiple elements, or there or not. If you open this element, see this, there has some attributes also there. See, HTML had, okay, HTML has one attribute called as a language attribute. My head has one attribute called as a ID attribute. My body has, see, class attribute is there. Okay. Now, if you observe here, this div, how many attributes are there? One attribute, see, key value. Another attribute, style, some value. Okay. Now, this one, class, this one, style. Like this, any number of attributes you can write it or not. For a single element, you can write any number of attributes. Now, tell me, one attribute to another attribute, how we can differentiate? One attribute to another attribute, how we can differentiate? Come on, one attribute to another attribute, how we can differentiate? By using space. See, key value, space, key value, space, something like that. You can write any number of attributes, no problem at all. Okay, now you can tell something about the attribute. Attribute is a key value pair. It tells something more about the element. It's going to tell something more about the element. Where you are going to place an attributes, always place an attributes in the open tag. Open tag. How many attributes you can write? Any number of attributes you can write. Any number of attributes. How we can differentiate one attribute to another attribute? How we can differentiate one attribute to another attribute? By using space. By using space like this or not. Agreed, everyone? Up here, okay? Any questions so far? What is an attribute? Okay, okay. Then the next one, I have one small requirement is there. Okay. Now, usually we are going to see any website. If you see any website, if I click on one link, it is navigate to another page, right? It is navigate to another page or not? If I click on one link, it is navigate to another page. That kind of functionality I want. How we can achieve? Okay. If we click on one link, should navigate to, it should navigate to another page. Another page. It should navigate to another page. How we can implement? It should navigate to another page. How we can implement? Come on. It should navigate to another page. How we can? Hmm? Come on. Very simple. If you don't know, if you don't know, already this kind of functionality you see in any other website, right? In the past, if you if you found, okay, I have one website. Okay, in the past, I saw like there has one link is there. If I click on the link, it is navigate to some other place. Okay, I already saw that one. I want to check that particular code what they written for that. I want to check that particular code what they written. Okay, let's go to Google. Let's go to the Google. Now, if I click on this about, it is navigate to some other page, about page or not. So that I know this is the functionality I want. So how they implemented, you can check. How they implemented, you can check. How we can check to this particular content, what kind of code they written. Do right click and inspect it. Do right click and inspect it. Now, if you observe here, whenever you do right click and inspect, okay, I want this particular content related code. That's the reason I put the cursor on the about, right click on this one, inspect it. Inspect it. Whenever I do that one, okay, there has one anchor tag highlighted or not. There has one anchor tag is like highlighted or not. Yes or no? There has one anchor tag is highlighted or not. A tag. Yes or no? So this particular A tag, they use it to prepare this content or not. If you want proof, right click on it, delete it. See this? That is gone. See, my about is not there. So this is only the code they written. This is only the code they written for what purpose? To this particular navigation purpose or not. So to navigate one page to another page, which element they used? Come on, what is the element name? Yeah, yeah. So how many attributes are there? There has a class attribute is there, href attribute is there, ping attribute is there. Like this, multiple attributes are there. But the important attribute, what you know, href is the attribute. Why? Because whenever you click on the link to which page you want me to navigate, that particular page address you have to give by using href attribute. In this case, href attribute is mandatory or not? See, if I write edit as HTML, for example, if I delete all these things, all these attributes, okay, just I'm deleting. Now see, now the about is there, but see, if I click on this one, it is not navigate to anywhere. This is the anchor element only, but if I click on this one, it is not navigate to anywhere. Why? Why it is not navigate to anywhere? Why it is not navigate to anywhere? Why? Because to where you want me to navigate, that particular path you not mentioned or not. Okay, attributes always tell something more about the element. You have to tell something more about this element is what? Hey, whenever you click on this about, I should have to navigate to some other page like this, you have to tell or not. So my href is the attribute. Can you navigate? Okay, uijavakit.com. Can you navigate to uijavakit.com like that you mentioned. Now see, whenever you click on this one, now it is navigate to which page? uijavakit.com or not? Yes or no? But you have to give the proper path. You have to give the proper path. How we can give? Okay, here you can give it. Now HTTPS. Okay, just you can give the path like this. HTTPS. Okay, javakit.com. Okay, now whenever you click on this about, where is that about? Okay, let me refresh. Okay. Where is my about? This is the about. Right click on it and inspect it. Okay, this is the code. Let me delete all my attributes. Let me delete all my attributes. Yes, I deleted. Now it's like what? It's like a normal text. It is not navigate to anywhere. If you want to navigate to any other place, okay, I should have to add one of the attribute, okay, called as what? One of the attribute called as what? Href is the attribute or not? So in this case, my href attribute is mandatory or optional? In this case, my href attribute is like mandatory or optional? Okay, I said like optional, right? But sometimes it's mandatory or not. If this href attribute is not there, it is not navigate anywhere. Whenever I added like href attributes, now it is navigate to where? My uijavakit.com or not? Yes or no? Agreed everyone? So one more point you can add it. Okay, attributes are optional only, but some of the elements required some mandatory attributes or not. Some of the elements required some attributes or not. Best example is what? My anchor tag is there. The anchor tag is there. If I write without any attribute, there is no use of this one. Without any attribute, if I write, there is no use of this one. 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 Okay. Whenever you write like href attribute is like where you want me to navigate, like this. then that time it is navigate to some other page or not. That is the actual basic functionality or not. So that here, what you can say, href is attribute is like a mandatory or optional in this case. Href attribute is like a mandatory, right? So some of the element required some mandatory attributes. Okay, if you not right, okay, you missed the basic functionality or not. Okay, the next one. I want to place one image one image. Okay, for that I need like a code. I want to render one image in the browser. So how we can, that code also I don't know. So in the past you saw some images in the browser, right? In different websites. Okay, you can visit any website which is having some images. Best example you can take like a Google one. Best example you can take like a Google. Okay, this one is like what? This one is like what? See, this one is like one image or not? This one is like one image or not? So to display this one, they used this particular image tag or not. If you want to prove, is it really this image only or not? Delete element. See, whenever I delete that, my image gone. Okay, on top of this one there has one more. Okay, there has some canvas is there, that's okay. But my background image gone or not? If I do control z, now see, if I do control z, now I can see the image or not. So in this image there is multiple attributes are there. Let me delete those attributes. Okay, edit as html. If I delete all these attributes, then what happens? If I delete all these attributes, what happened? Image tag is there image tag is there, but there has no attributes, nothing. Then the time you missed some functionality or not. Anchor is there, you missed href attribute, then the time you missed the functionality or not. Here also image is there, but image tag is there, but nothing is displayed here or not. So you missed something or not. What you missed, whenever you use like an image, okay, there has one mandatory attribute is required. What is that mandatory attribute? Source is the mandatory attribute. What is that mandatory attribute? Source is the mandatory attribute. Got my point? Source is the mandatory attribute. Okay, so that whenever you have this attribute, then only we can see the image. Now I change the source to some other. See this, that is gone. Okay, which attribute exactly? Src is an attribute. It tells something about the source of an image. Source is nothing but the path of an image to load inside the image tag or not. Load inside the image tag. Understood, everyone? So what I'm trying to say is attributes are like optional, correct? But some of the attributes are mandatory to some elements or not. Best example is like href is mandatory to anchor. Source is mandatory to my image or not? Source is mandatory to my image or not? Source is mandatory to my image. Up to your opinion. You got some idea on attributes now? Okay, then the next one is important. Next point is elements behavior depending on what? Okay, the question is this one. Elements behavior depending on what? Can anyone explain this question? What I'm expecting from you? Can anyone elaborate? Elements behavior is depending on what? Anyone?
CSS.
Any other answers? What is the behavior? I said like elements behavior. What is the behavior? Hmm? Okay, very simple. Yeah? One div is there, searching. Okay, na? One span is there. That is also searching only. One h1 is there. That is also searching only. And one para is there. That is also searching only. One I tag is there. That is also searching only. Okay, na? That's also such a. Yes. Okay. How many elements are there overall? Overall, how many elements are there? Five elements
Five
are there. The
elements.
content is what? All the elements content is what? Tell me about the content. Sachin, 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 Sachin. If I render this one, is my Sachin is visible in the same format or different formats? Come on, let me render it. Okay, let me render it. I don't want to go with any HTML file. Here only I want to do it. If it is required, we can create HTML file. Okay, na? Now done. Put outside. Put the cursor outside. Okay. Now see one element. Why the span is okay? Let me edit. Okay. Edit.html. My span supposed to be closed here, and my span is this one. H1. Okay, everything is fine. Okay. How many elements are there overall? Overall, how many elements are there? Tell me. Come on, fast. Okay, HTML head to body, leave it. Overall, here, how many elements are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 elements are there. All the 5 elements having which content? Content I'm talking about. What is the content?
Sachin.
Nothing but open tag, closing tag, in between whatever you have, that is the content you can say. Okay, what is my content? Such. The content is same for all or not? The content is like same for all or not? Yes, no.
Yes, same.
The content is like same for all. The content is like same for all. Okay, na? The content is like same for all. So the thing is, the div looks like this behavior. The span looks like this. By H1, a big font size, and my para something like this, and my italic something like this. The content is same, but the way of rendering the content, the format, the text format is like somewhat different or not. So my question is like, my div, why this is like this? My H1, why this behave like big font size? My para, my italic, why it is looks like this? My para, why it is looks like this? That is the question. Elements behavior, content, the text is same only, but the text format is like different. The elements behavior depending on what? That is the question. My H1, why big font size? My italic, why it is looks like this? My elements behavior is depending on what? That is the question. The elements behavior is always depending on the CSS styling, what you applied. One word answers, one line answers, I already spelled, right? Okay. HTML for what purpose? Only for preparing the raw text, static content. That's it. If you want to look and feel, or if you want to change the behavior of an element, then you can go with what? Then you can go with what? CSS. If you want to perform some actions, okay, then the time you can go with what? JavaScript or not. To prepare raw text, HTML. To make it like look and feel, CSS. Okay, to perform some actions, JavaScript. Okay, here also each and every element has the look and feel is something different. This one is big font size, this one is like italic. The elements look and feel, the elements behavior, look and feel is nothing but behavior. The elements behavior is depending on what? CSS or not. Okay. And one more question. Among 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which elements behaving like a block level? Which elements behaving like inline among these 5? Which elements are behaving like a block level? Which elements are behaving like inline? Come on. Which elements are behaving like block level? Which elements are like behaving like inline? That is the question. Okay.
Div
So
H1 and
H1
beginner block
para
level.
is like what? Block level or inline? If H1 para is block level or inline? Block.
Block level.
Okay. Span and italic is like what? Span and italic is like what? Inline.
Inline.
Inline. So 3 are like block level, 2 are like inline. So the 2 elements are behaving like inline, 3 elements are like behaving like what? Block level. So my elements behavior is depending on what? As I said, the elements behavior is depending on what? CSS or not. So my div why it is behaving like a block level, you know. Now see, my div why it is behaving like block level. My div why it is behaving like block level, you know. One second. Hello? Yeah, hear me, right? So my div is behaving like a block level, right? Okay, my span is behaving like inline, right? Why it is behaving like a block level, you know? If I click on the div, if you come to the right side, see, there has style section is there. Are you able to see the style section? Hello? Are you able to see the style section? Come on, are you able to see the style section here? See this. In the style section, for this particular div, which CSS property applied? What is CSS properties? We'll see. That is our next level discussion. But for now, you can easily understand. Which property applied? Tell me. Display block. Okay. Another block level element. Tell me. Anyone? You said like 3 or like block level. Next block level element is what? Another block level element among these 5. H1. Huh? So can you come to the H1? Can I click on the H1? If I click on the H1, if you come to the right side, now see, there has display block applied or not. There has display block applied or not. Agree with me? There has a display block applied or not. All are okay. So because of this particular CSS property, applied to my H1, that the reason my H1 is behaving like what? That the reason my H1 is behaving like what? A block level element or not? Yes or no? Another block level element, tell me. Another block level element is what? Para, right? If I click on the para, see my display block, the CSS property applied or not? That the reason my para is behaving like what? By default, my para is behaving like what? Block level element or not? So what I'm trying to say is the elements behavior in your HTML, how many elements are there? Okay, so many elements are there. The elements behavior is depending on what? That's my first question. The elements behavior is depending on what? The elements behavior is depending on the CSS what you applied or not. Okay, so because of this display block property applied to my para, so my para is behaving like what? Block cloud element by default. Because of, okay, the CSS properties applied, okay, display block applied to my H1, my H1 is behaving like this or not, like a block level. My H1 not only block level, big font size. Why? See, to my H1, by default, my font size is what? 2EM applied or not? By default, my font size is like what? 2EM applied or not? At the same time, there has a margin applied. What is this margin? We'll see. There has a margin, say red shade, top to bottom. Margin applied or not? And font weight bold. See this, it's a big font size. Okay, and bold letters or not. See, these many CSS properties by default applied to my H1. That the reason my H1 is behaving like this or not. So the point is the elements behavior is depending upon what? Come on, depending upon the CSS properties, because the CSS properties which you apply to that particular element, that CSS property only tells something about the behavior of your element or not. So the element's behavior is completely depending on the CSS what you apply to that particular element. Understood everyone? You got my point? Okay, na? Okay then. So why this I in the italic? So click on this I. Now come to the right side. Now see, there has one CSS property applied. What is that CSS property? Font style italic. Because of the CSS property only, my I is behaving like this or not. So the elements behavior is completely depending upon the CSS what you applied. My H1 is behaving like a block level. Why? By default, display block applied CSS. Why my H1 is like big font size? Why? Because my font size is like 2M. Why my H1 is behaving like something? Okay, like bold letters. Why? Because my font weight is like bold. Why my H1 top or bottom there has a red shade? Why? Because my margin of my H1 is like what? My margin of my H1 is like what? This one or not? So the elements behavior is completely depending on the CSS what you applied or not. The point is the elements behavior is always completely depending on the CSS what you applied or not. So the point. Agreed everyone? All are okay? So for any questions? Okay then. So span is by default which kind of element? Inline. See, display block applied or not applied? Not applied. That's the reason it's like what? Inline element or not. It's take content width only. I is inline a block level. It is also inline only. Why? Because display block is not applied. So elements behavior is depending upon the CSS. So that can we change the behavior of an element? Just that question only. I'm asking like reverse. Can we change the behavior of an element? Yes, no? Can we change the behavior of an element? Yes. How? Using CSS only, na? The behavior, element behavior is depending upon CSS means, okay, CSS changed means my behavior also changed or not? CSS changed means my behavior also changed or not? The elements behavior is completely depending upon what? The elements behavior is completely depending on the CSS what we applied. The elements behavior is completely depending on the CSS what you apply. So if you change the behavior of an element, can we change the behavior of an element? Yes. How? The CSS, if you change, automatically behavior changed. So let me prove it. Show me that. Really changed or not. Okay, I will show you. Span is which kind of element by default? By default, span is which kind of element? Come on, fast. Nothing is there, na? So that what is that? Inline. If I write display block, now see, okay, if you want, you can say this. Background, background is like red. See, my span background is like red. It's take only content width. Whenever I applied display block, okay, now see, my span is like inline a block level now. Is it take the content width or parent width? Is it take like content width or parent width? It's take the parent width or not. So my element by default inline, but I can change the behavior of an element by applying the CSS or not. I can change the behavior of an element by applying some CSS properties or not. Agreed? Okay. Come on. So elements behavior is completely depending on the CSS what you applied. The elements behavior is completely depending on the CSS what you applied. Can we change the behavior of an element? Yes, we can change the behavior of an element by applying CSS only. Can we change the inline element to block level? Yes, we can change it by applying one of the CSS property called as a display block. Can we change H1 is a block level? Can we change the block level to inline? Yes, I can change block level to inline, display inline. Now see my H1 is like which kind of element? Block level inline, inline element or not? So elements behavior is completely depending upon the CSS what you apply. Okay, so that our next level discussion is about CSS. Okay, how to apply the CSS. Tomorrow our session is about CSS. Okay, na? Any questions, anyone? Snehita, Swaruprani, Havni. There are many people are old only. You guys, are you okay? Are you able to understand? Swaruprani, are you able to understand? Okay. Okay, then tomorrow we'll continue remaining things. Thank you guys. Thanks for joining. Okay, Monday onwards, our Django sessions are going to start, but these are important. These are required. Okay. Okay, then. Thank you. Bye.